Here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Hey, movie lovers, I'm Pete Wright.
And I'm Andy Nelson. We are the hosts of the Next Reel Film Podcast.
If you're passionate about films like we are, you'll love our show. Each week, we dive deep into a movie, discussing everything from the story and performances to the cinematography and score.
Not to mention budgets and awards. We have covered iconic series like Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather trilogy, examining themes of power, family, and the dark side of the American dream.
We've explored the works of groundbreaking directors like Catherine Bigelow, discussing her mastery of tension.
We've looked at heist films, great car chases, great years in film, couples on the run, and more.
Our discussions go beyond the surface, examining what makes each film tick. We believe that when the movie ends, the conversation begins.
And we'd love for you to join that conversation. Find the Next Reel Film Podcast on your favorite podcast app or at thenextreel.com.
The Next Reel. When the movie ends,
our conversation begins.
Coming up on The Devil's Details, Sodomites 1, Heretics 0. Dante's Inferno, Part 4. Good morning, Star Lovelies, and welcome to another episode of The Devil's Details, a show where we dig up, decipher, dissect, and deconstruct the many forms of the devil. One of my names is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I sometimes go by Keenan Diaz.
And we're just two lost souls hitchhiking down the highway to hell. And just a reminder, today's episode was originally recorded as bonus content for our first podcast, The Exorcist Minute, so I think we should hand it over. Take it away, past Lester and Keenan. Last time, we had just gained entry to Dis.
Dis what?
No. We went over this in the last episode. Dis is the name of the city.
What is the name of the city?
That's what I'm telling ya!
That's what I'm asking.
Third circle! Didn't we already make this joke?
So now you're worried about repeating jokes.
Fair. Okay, so we entered the gates, and Keenan, apparently, we built this city.
We built this city?
Yes.
On what?
On people are so mad at us right now. Where's our circle of hell? No. But we built this city on burning coffins stuffed with the souls of heretics. I don't remember that line in the song. But we met two notables, Farinata, whom Dante has a long chat with, but then it gets interrupted by Cavalcante de Cavalcante, who's sharing the same burning tomb with him, and asks Dante if his son Guido Cavalcante, Dante's friend, is still alive up on Earth. Dante hesitates, and Cavalcante takes that to mean no, and he disappears back into the tomb. We also met a cowboy.
You know what? What cowboy?
Okay. A bull boy, right? Or I guess a bull man, right?
Oh, right.
We met a minotaur, who wasn't such of a much. Our heroes just literally ran right past him. And then after that, we came to a boiling river of blood where we met the horseman.
No, our horseman?
No, not our horseman. We met a centaur.
Right.
And he and a couple other horsemans escorted us beyond the river, and that's where it got really dark, both literally and figuratively, because after the river of blood was the suicide forest, where we talked to a tree and a bush that were both once people. In fact, all of the trees and bushes were once people, and this is where we pick up today's episode. All right, so we are in Canto 14, still in Circle 7, Subcircle 3.
Why don't they just make them their own circles? Why is 9 such a magical number? That
I know. I don't understand. I don't. But I'm not Dante Alighieri, come to find, right? But okay, so this canto starts out with Dante granting the wish of the suffering bush by gathering up the broken branches and placing them at the base of the bush. Remember, we had speculated last time that this had something to do with like a futile attempt at reverence or remembrance, right? Which adds a bit of grief to this thing. But when we were talking about how this circle in particular is really sad, and we can see that Dante is also moved to pity. Both the writer and the character Dante, right?
Yeah, I know we don't want to spend a lot of time on this because it is sad and it's so fraught, like the suicide,
Right.
forest. But it's one of the things that's also sad is that some of these trees and people are people who have attempted suicide. So this is again like this very old thing that we're trying to dismantle today about like the act of trying to kill yourself by suicide is a sin by itself, right? So but just think about that, like this is like if you attempt suicide, then you're already in hell.
Right.
So then so that's just encouraging suicide, right? I mean, like you're you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you're already damned. So why would you? So you're already a lost soul. So just these things that, like, again, they invented that taboo to try to discourage people from killing themselves, right?
Yeah,
but it doesn't work.
This was like in the old days they would use the the scare tactics to keep people, all the Grimm's fairy tales and all the everything was scary. It's like, don't do this. Why? Because a very bad thing will happen.
Right.
And it usually like blew up in people's faces, right? Because like by trying to scare them, by trying to like make up all this horrible stuff, you were placing this like you were placing even more layers of like heavy thought around it.
Right.
Yeah. And
not a good idea, Dante. You're perpetuating some hurtful things here, Dante.
And I remember growing up, and being in church, and as far as I can remember, the whole suicide thing within at least my Catholic church was kind of like it was done away with. It was like it's not good that you're feeling this way. Like you need to be helped by someone, or you need to go and seek help. But it's like it's not a sin. It's a symptom. Right.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. So I was very, very hesitant to go too deep into this forest, because I was worried because on the one hand we have folks like Dante calling it a sin and calling people evil who do this act, right? But that's not to say like let's not overcorrect and say it's like, oh yeah, suicide is great. Let's just, because we want to also say like this is something that that you can get help for.
Right. And it's interesting. So he's coming from this point of sin, but this is a really touching kind of canto, right? Like it's not like funny or macabre. It's like really haunting, right? So he does as the author seem to be able to have sympathy for these people, even if he's not able to get out of his time period's ideas of what suicide is like.
Right. And we're going to see that a little bit later. Right. How, like him actually like feeling bad for the people done it. Like, because up to this point he's kind of been like he'll see people and he'll be like, yeah, or something like that, right? Or he'll just like, pretend not to recognize them or whatever. Right?
Yeah, but again, thinking about like the history of the devil and the history of hell, it's interesting. Like, in pop culture since then, suicide has been sort of moved to like this. There's a lot of other depictions where like, oh, you don't go to hell, you go to purgatory, and you still have the chance to be saved, and so like we've changed as a culture. So it's interesting to think about like where this has come from.
Yeah. All right. So now after this, they move on and eventually reach the edge of the forest, beyond which is a vast desert. This is the beginning of the third subcircle of Circle 7.
We were joking before we started. It's like filling out a text form, right? It's like, if so, go to line 4, box 7A. If not, go to circle 8, subsection B.
I tell you, like King Minos up in the oh god, I don't even remember the other circle, the beginning circles.
Limbo.
Right? Limbo. No, it's right after Limbo. Right?
Oh god.
Yeah, I see. But no, it's like what
play the music anyway.
Yeah, we're playing the music. We need some music right now. Oh, that feels much better. Okay, anyway. But I'm telling you, he's missing out. Like by not making all of the newcomers in hell fill out their own forms about which circle they need to go to. Like, wouldn't that be great? Like Minos already knows. He's like, I know which circle you're going to go to, but you have to do the equations. You have to do the math and figure it out.
And if you get it wrong,
then you go one circle deeper. I love it. Okay. I don't know if you can tell, folks, but I'm a little sick today. But I'm still recording because I do it for you. I'm a martyr.
I do it for you.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Where the fuck?
Dante.
Oh, Dante, right. Right. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so we are in the beginning of the third subcircle of Circle 7. Dante takes great pains to explain to us the horrible sight which meets his eyes. He sees herds of naked souls either laying down or milling about on this sandy, barren plain as fire rains down on them. And he describes this fire like flakes of snow on a mountain with no wind, which I don't know why, but that just sounds so much worse than like what you see in the pictures, because in all of these pictures, right, the ones by like Gustave Doré or all of the other illustrations of this circle, it looks like the fire is like shooting down like tiny comets, right, like really fast and hitting them like little meteors, right? But like, Keaton, just imagine these little candle flames gently falling like snow and landing on you, and they're not making any sound. It's like quiet snow. That just seems so much worse to me.
Yeah, it's something I haven't ever thought of, right? It's like unfathomable. And then he puts it into, really evocative terms here. Yeah. So that's the trouble with visualizing the afterlife or the divine, right? It's like, you can't even imagine this. So So some of our metaphors are, sloppy, and I would say dangerous, like that heaven is paved with gold. Like that's a dangerous idea. It's a metaphor, everybody. It's a metaphor.
Yeah, it's a metaphor.
The gates are made of pearl. It's a metaphor. Yeah, but this metaphor is really very evocative. I love it. Love it. It's terrifying.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so these flames are igniting both the sand and the people, some of whom, like we said, are milling around, and some of whom are laying down or huddled up in balls trying to protect themselves, right? And then Dante spots one guy who doesn't seem to be affected. He's just like sitting on the ground, brooding as the flames light upon him. He has this body language that signifies like outward contempt. And so Dante asks Virgil who this guy is, but this guy overhears and he answers for himself. He doesn't say his name, but he explains that he challenged God, and that's why he's down here, right? But he's so prideful and angry that he doesn't want to show that his punishment is affecting him. And then we get this guy's name when Virgil calls him out for being a sore loser. Virgil calls him Capaneus. And I imagine the first readers of Inferno are like, oh yeah, because to them this story is probably like a little bit more well known, right? Oh yeah, Capaneus, right? Of course, he would be down here. But yeah, this is Capaneus, who, according to the poet Statius, whom Dante will later meet in Purgatory. We're not going to meet him, but. Capaneus once challenged Jove, or I guess in this case God, to a duel. And so now all he can do down here is stew in his own anger and contempt.
And I assume he lost that duel with God?
You know what? I haven't read the poem by Statius, but I'm going to just make an assumption. And I know what happens when you make assumptions, but I'm going to make an assumption that he lost.
No, I did look it up. He gets struck by lightning.
Oh, okay.
He challenges Jove, who is, we know him more as Zeus, right?
Right. Yeah,
he challenges Zeus to a duel and gets struck by lightning. So I'm sure it's much more beautiful in the poem, but for me, that's just very funny.
It just seems like just the visual that I'm getting. It's like come forth and
right. I challenge you, Jove.
Right. It's after he's
from a distance.
Right.
You see
It has to be from a distance, right? And it's after this big dramatic monologue with all this swelling music. It's like, exactly. I'm calling you out.
Right.
And then just pausing it.
Yeah, it's a big speech like Lear in the Storm or
right.
Ahab tied to the mast, right?
Right.
And that's the end of Capaneus, yeah.
Yep, there we go. All right.
But I also like the idea of Virgil calling him out, and like Capaneus, you're a sore loser. Loser.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you with all this whining and moaning. Oh, wait, that's not the wind. That's just you.
Yeah, there's no wind in this circle. It's all Capaneus's excuses.
Oh boy. But yeah, he's just trying to show that it doesn't affect him at all. Right. Yeah. But yeah, so the boys move on and they come to a red stream at the base.
That's never good.
Yeah, I wonder what this. Yeah. When in nature have you seen a red stream and been like, oh yay? Yeah.
Probably tastes delicious.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, so this red stream, which Virgil explains is the source of all the rivers in hell, right? It's coming from this giant statue of the king of Crete, made of various metals and clay, right? The quality decreases from head to toe. So we got gold, silver, brass, iron, and then clay, right? Now, blood and tears seep through the cracks and form little streams that run down the statue and become the rivers of hell, right? So that's what's going on there. Mm-hmm. Then they walk along the bank of this stream and out of this canto, right? So we're done with that canto.
And our buddy Nessus leaves us there.
Nessus. Oh yeah, Nessus is yeah.
You forgot Nessus, our horseman.
He was so quiet the whole time. It's been a week, so we have
right. Yeah, our buddy Nessus leaves us there and goes on a date with his girlfriend, who is a nanny/secretary to a famous movie star.
Exactly. Right. And just thinks it's so rude that we we were dissing Capaneus and he was standing there. We were like, Virgil was explaining this King of Crete statue, and he's just there, and then he leaves, and you hear just like way in the distance. This is like you just hear, "You're welcome."
He also might think it's a little rude that he takes us on this tour, and then we're making fun like, Capaneus, you're a loser, and that's just like, dude, guys, this is my neighbor. I have to live with this guy.
He probably went back and apologized to
Capaneus. Like, hey, these people from the first circle,
these first circlers, these limboists,
right?
These noble pagans,
pagans.
But yeah, so now we are in Canto 15, still in that last subcircle of Circle 7.
So Canto 15, Circle 7, Subcircle 3.
No. Yes.
I was like, what?
You're absolutely right. I apologize.
Okay, great. Just so everybody's clear.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. So we're still in that desert where the fire falls like snow, right? And Dante and Virgil encounter a group of souls walking the other way, one of whom stops and scrutinizes him, and we come to find that Dante recognizes one of them. This is a Florentine named Brunetto Latini. He was a politician, a poet, and also Dante's former mentor. Now, Latini asks why Dante is down here, and Dante explains that Virgil is leading him through hell to enlightenment. Right? Now, it's here that Dante learns that the people with whom Latini is traveling with have all committed the same sin. That is, they are all sodomites. And yes, the Dante writing this story puts them down here in the blasphemy circle. Dante offers to sit and talk with Latini, but Latini is in one of those groups who must be constantly moving to avoid the flakes of fire. And if they stop for any reason, they'll never move again, but simply lie down on the ground and not get up. So Latini offers to walk with him instead. So now you got Dante, and he and Virgil are on this raised bank along the river, and you got this guy, Latini, walking alongside a little bit lower on the sand of the burning desert. So Dante is above him, and yet Dante says that Dante bowed his head in reverence as they walked and talked. So Dante really, really respects this guy and is surprised to see him here.
So again, it's like this meta thing, right? So it's this, the writer has put him in the circle of blasphemy, but then also wants you to know as the reader that his character feels bad for that.
That is so hard to wrap my head around. I keep forgetting that the writer Dante he doesn't have to be in there, Dante. That's how you can feel better about this. All right. Yeah. So now, this is interesting because we're now seeing people whom Dante feels pity for, or is surprised by their presence in hell. I'm surprised. And even people that Dante honors, and it sort of complicates the idea that we had earlier that Dante is just writing this torture fantasy where he can put all the people he hates in hell. What is he doing here? Like putting his friend and mentor, whom he loves and respects, in hell for the quote unquote sin of sodomy, and then having this conversation with him. Like, what do you think, Keenan?
Yeah, at my house, we're fans of sodomy. So we're a pro-sodomy family. That's what So yeah, I think it's really interesting. Like it's like this shameful sin, right? That he's put his friend, like, he doesn't have to say that his friend was a, like, is he trying to, is he being pro, not gay? I don't think that's the right word here, right? But like being supportive of sodomites in this way. It's a little bit of a head scratcher for me.
Yeah. I was reading about this. Some scholars were saying that like they had mentioned that this was the circle for sodomites, but Dante never directly addressed it with Latini specifically. So, and I don't know what that means. Like how do you not, like, if you're putting this circle in your fake hell,
Yeah.
right? And you're saying all of the people down in this circle are guilty of, are here because of sodomy, right? And then you meet someone who you love and respect,
Right, and are shocked that they're there.
Aren't you gonna bring it up?
Well, you're outing them. So if that argument is like, oh no, he's not a sodomite, he's just amongst this group of no, I don't buy that at all. No,
okay,
he's a sodomite.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the sort of the question. So, as a gay man, right, like this question about sodomy in the Bible comes up a lot. And there are attempts in modern gay rights circles to like try to reinterpret the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. You've probably seen these things, right? Okay, so the angels had come in to protect the blessed people, and then the Sodomites come out, they're outside and they're trying to come in and rape the angel, right?
Right, yeah.
That's pretty clear cut, I think. The reinterpretation of it that you read a lot as well. No, it's not that it's against homosexuality in general, it's against rape.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I think that I guess if you're a Christian or something and you need to try to find, a gay Christian, you're trying to find something, some reason to make this more palatable for you. But I'm of the ilk that says like, well, it doesn't matter what it says in the Bible. You could, marry your husband or whatever. So that's my personal thing. And then also, if I were someone with faith, I would just take it also upon, that Jesus comes in the New Testament and says like, forget all that stuff in the Old Testament, which I think is very, very clear.
Right, like a big old Etch-a-Sketch. He's just like, we're starting over.
That is very explicit, I think, in my reading of the Bible, that he says to just go back to the 10 Commandments, and he'll take it from here.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but I totally understand that, like trying to figure that out, like trying to even remove the idea of sodomy, being a sodomite from the experience of being gay. But I don't know. That's. I don't know if you need to go through all this mental gymnastics, I guess is my point, to reinterpret that story, because it's pretty clear they're trying to, get with that angel. They love him so much. Yeah.
I've always looked at it as, again, we talked about like those mistranslations, right? With Moses having horns or, like all of that stuff.
That frickin' Mary Magdalene is a prostitute. I mean, that's not in the Bible.
Right, yeah.
Sorry, frickin' Mary Magdalene. That's what I mean. But like that one really bothers me. That Mary Magdalene is a rabbi and not a sex worker. Like,
precisely, right? So like the thing that always like stuck in my craw about that was you either. And I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like the interpreters of the Bible who use this to hurt other people. They're either unintentionally or intentionally like not understanding the proper translation, so that they can prosecute this group of people that they don't like.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I just feel like I'm like looking around, like I'm in a sea of people. I was like, guys, doesn't it like it was a typo? Like it was a like they're talking about rape. Like that's exactly what they're talking.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the people who originally misinterpreted it like got the memo later on, but then they like just kept pretending that they didn't understand it, or But again, I don't know what the original writers of the Bible were. That's for other scholars. That's for scholars.
For real scholars.
For real scholars who are smarter than me.
Right.
They can have a better guess at what the original writers of the Bible were trying to say with that message. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the original writers of the Bible, and then the people who have taken up their work, and then all of the writers of culture that have come after them, like all the way into Dante's time, like they are very aware of sodomy being a sin. And it's interesting, so it's the stories of Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, where are the Gomorrites in all of this? How come they don't get
what did they do? Yeah,
they don't get their own little, their isms, right, or their e's, their Gomorrhy.
You're guilty of Gomorrhy. Like, what is Gomorrhy?
Right. We have an idea in my house what sodomy is. What is Gomorry?
Yeah. Memento Gomorry. I don't know.
Yeah, but they seem to get off easy, because I mean they're all destroyed obviously by these fireballs that come down, right, and kill them. Is that about right? Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they get off easy in that respect, because they don't have a whole sin named after them. Afterwards.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So just to, again, like I am taking the stand that you don't need to reinterpret the Bible especially for non-faithful people, like non-Christians.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to go back and reinterpret the Bible to make it okay to be gay for yourself. You should just be gay.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's too controversial,
Mm-hmm.
but there is this thing I have just remembered while you were talking. Ezekiel 16-49. This was the guilt of your sister Sodom. She and her daughters had pride, excess of food, and prosperous ease, but did not aid the poor and needy. They were haughty and did abominable things before me. Therefore I moved them when I saw it. There, I am the Lord. I'm assuming.
Just as an afterthought, it's like,
right.
He doesn't even care anymore. He's just like,
no, he didn't say I am the Lord. That was me. So even Ezekiel, right, is taking the earlier story and trying to parse out that the sin is not necessarily of sodomy or even of the rape. It's that they are prideful.
Yeah. Huh. Well, there you go.
And again, the Gomorrans, I don't know what their deal.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Were they just caught up? Were they just like in the range of the fireball, the meteor? And then we have to like say like, oh, they were evil too. Don't worry about that.
God doesn't have snipers. He just drops bombs.
Right. You're right. They were probably bad too.
Yeah. The Gomorrans, they were probably bad too.
Yeah.
Their punishment is just not being included. So even in Dante's hell, they're like, we're here too.
Yeah, exactly.
We did very bad things, and nobody remembers us.
As I tell you, Lester, you never forget sodomy.
Never forget. Oh, folks, we have fun here. But yeah, that all of that is question for smarter, actual doctors and scholars.
Actual smart people.
Yes.
Not just those who play smart people on a podcast.
Exactly. Right. Speaking of smart people, right? we got Dr. Phil Carey, right? And he talks about the humanity of Dante's hell, right? And he asks us to make note of the interactions which Dante has with the people in hell. And we can see how some of them are very rude or self-centered, right? Like with Farinata, right? Like who doesn't even like realize that he's sharing a tomb with his brother-in-law, right?
Right.
Or Capaneus, who's like so angry at his fate that he doesn't even like feel the flames raining down on him, right? But then some of them are very sad, like we got the forest with Pierre de la Vigne, or the bush that asks Dante to do that like little act of remembrance, right, gathering up the broken branches. And so Dr. Carey here, he notes that Dante's hell does not dehumanize us, but in fact it sort of like adds this layer to the punishment, right? Like people who were selfish and self-centered on earth are still selfish and self-centered even as they are burning alive, right? People with compassion or deep sadness still feel those emotions down in hell, and it sort of like manifests in their environment, like in the forest. Now, later on, we're going to meet some souls in hell who seem more like animals, like devouring each other, right? But Dr. Carey says that the souls who seem less human are that way because they've done that to themselves, right? They were animals up on earth, right? The hell they suffer is a reflection of their like inward violence that they have done to, their own human nature, right? But it's interesting to see here in this canto, right? As deep as Circle 7, there are some souls who like retain their humanity, right?
That's really interesting. So I wonder if part of this is in Dante's time of like character being immutable. Like our thoughts of character arc don't really happen in Dante's time. By the time we get to Shakespeare, we sort of have that being more prevalent, where characters have arcs to them. Like, in the ancient drama, there's tragedy and there's what they call peripetia, right? Like the reversal of fortune. But it's not really that Oedipus like changes before he's like that's part of the reason he is destroyed, is that he does not change.
Right. Yes.
So maybe again, we haven't read ahead to Paradiso. Like, does Dante go through a great change, or is he pretty much the same character in with parts 1, 2, and 3? That would be more in line with how drama and literature worked at the time, and maybe how like we just saw people always are.
Yes.
A certain way, right? That's who they are before they were born, even. That's who they are when they're alive. And then because the Abrahamic religions have a soul that lasts into infinity, that they stay that way.
Right. So we got the noble pagans just being noble pagans, right? Caesar doing his Caesar thing in limbo, right?
Right.
Yeah. And all these people down in hell, like, being punished for the very character that they retain.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way of putting it. Because I don't know. I think in later depictions of, because I don't really see it here, but in later depictions of hell, it's a lot of like, when they have the contrapasso, the ironic punishment, it is a lot of like, oh, I've learned that, oh, now I see, now I get the irony.
Yes.
And a lot of people here don't seem to get the irony at all.
Right. I mean, even as as soon as what's it called, Christmas Carol, right?
Right.
We have in the book, at least, there is this vision that Marley shows Scrooge. They look out his window and they see all of the ghosts, kind of like all of the ghosts who were like greedy and wouldn't help others. They're like crowding around, the people down in the streets, and like if I remember correctly, there's this one ghost who's moaning and wailing because he can't help this mother and her child, and they're starving in the streets. And like, I mean, obviously he's a ghost and this is his punishment. He's in chains because he wouldn't do this in life, and now as a ghost he's like hovering over this dying mother and child, and he can't help them, and that's his, he wants to but he can't.
Right. And Marley has made a change. That's by the very nature. That's why he would go back and talk to Scrooge, and then
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, none of these people in hell. No,
it does seem more Christian, right? That you'd be able to change. Think. Yeah. So something has. I'm sorry, we're sort of having these thoughts on air and discovering these things, right? But yeah, so like the damned have no redemption at all. That doesn't seem in line.
Wouldn't you want to like you're supposed to learn from this thing? Right?
Yeah, that's just interesting. Yeah, well, keep an eye on that, because I don't think that's happening in the rest of the piece either. But not that I can remember.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to, we were talking about like, the Grimm's fairy tales. It's like, don't talk to strangers. Here's a story about kids who talk to strangers and they died.
Or even when they don't, like Hansel and Gretel don't have arcs, they don't change. Yeah. Cinderella doesn't have an arc,
Hansel and Gretel go to another candy house the very next week. I guarantee you.
Well, they killed the witch and ate the candy, so like they got everything they ever wanted.
So we can do this. Yeah, we can do this. This is very easy.
Well, so we have state-sanctioned murder and gingerbread.
There we go. That's a show note. State-sanctioned murder and gingerbread. Love it. But yeah. So okay, so going back to this canto, right? So we have here with Brunetto Latini. He has such Dante has such reverence for him, even in hell, right? Like he's stooping down to listen as Brunetto advises him, and he's being like a mentor. He's being like a teacher to Dante, just like he did when he was alive, right? It's this teacher-student relationship. So this is the opposite of Farinata, right? Who was in that burning hot tub tomb, and he was like so lost in himself that he didn't even realize he was sharing the tomb with like the guy whose son married his daughter, right? Like Farinata, who like even though he is self-centered, like he has lost all sense of his like relationships to other people. And Brunetto Latini is still friend and teacher to Dante, right? Remembers Dante and cares about him enough to break off from his group and like walk with him even in hell, right?
Well, Sodomites 1, Heretics 0.
There we go, right? Philosopher. No, I'm not even going to do that. No. And okay, so once their conversation is over, he runs off to go join his group again. And Dante reflects that he looks like one of the contestants in the great foot race of Verona, but that he looks more like one who wins than one who loses, right? So it really is Sodomites 1.
No, Heretics 0, Sodomites 1.
Heretics 0, Sodomites 1. Yeah. And I thought that was interesting, right? This guy is in hell, and yet Dante reflects that he looks like a winner.
Right.
Yeah. So something to note, Dante and Virgil are walking along this river, the mist of which is surrounding them and protecting them from the rain of fire. Now, this mist, like all the water from this river, is made of tears. So tears are protecting them. Right? That's interesting. Another thing to note here, Dr. Carey says that he has taught this text on courses where they also read a memoir of life in Auschwitz, the Nazi concentration camp, written by Primo Levi, an Italian Jew who loved Dante and who cites verses from the Inferno while he is in Auschwitz in order to remember what it's like to be human and to compare it to the truly dehumanizing hell that the Nazis have created, right? He's trying to make a point that even in Dante's hell, even Dante's hell is nowhere near as bad as the truly dehumanizing hell on earth that the Nazis had created with these concentration camps. That gave me chills when I heard that. The fact that we really can be worse than devils, right? And the hell on earth that we create is far worse than even Dante's hell. And that makes me think yet again of like Father Marin, what he says in the book on those steps, right? He says, we have no need of Satan to manage our wars. These we manage for ourselves. So yeah, folks, if you're looking around trying to figure out who the devil is, it's us.
So did we just solve the history of the devil?
I think we did, right?
It turns out this whole time.
We were the devil the whole time, right? The whole time.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, and we solved the problem of evil.
It's us.
It's us. There we go.
That was making me think as you were talking about that, about how dehumanizing the camps were, the death camps.
Right.
Or even before they were death camps. I mean, it was dehumanizing, right? So that's, even before they were explicitly death camps and they were work camps. But, Dante's hell starts with abandon all hope, all ye who enter here, right? Or some version of that, right?
Yeah.
And that's like, that's telling you, but like the version above that in Auschwitz, right? It says, work shall set you free.
Yeah.
Which is even, that's even worse. That's like, hey, as long as you're doing, you're working here, like you have hope, right? So at the beginning of Dante's hell, there is no hope. And then in Auschwitz, this hell on earth, it's giving you false hope.
Right. Torturing people with hope. That's sadistic. Right? Yeah, folks. The devils that we create are nothing compared to the devils that we are. Okay, well, so now we get into Canto 16. We are nearing the border of the 7th and 8th circle. Let me read that again because I don't understand it. We are near. Oh, okay, yeah, we're in the 7th circle. Okay, we're nearing the border of the. Yeah. And now Dante can hear the sound of falling water. But before he can reflect on this, our boys are approached by 3 souls who appear to recognize Dante as a man of Florence by his clothing. These 3 are Guido Guerra, Tegaio Aldobrandi, and Jacopo Rusticucci. I hope I said those right.
Yeah, especially that last one.
Yeah. You were looking at that one, it's like, oi. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Excuse me, I'm looking for Signora Rusticucci.
Yeah. Is there a Jacopo Rusticucci in this? Yeah. So Dante knows them, and Virgil says it's okay. It's okay to stop and talk with them. And so they ask Dante 2 things. First, they ask about Florence and whether, quote, valor still lives in the city as it used to do. Dante says no, and the 3 look at each other as men do when they face the truth, unquote, right? The second thing they ask is that Dante speaks of them to others. And this is becoming more and more common. We're seeing people who meet Dante asking that he tell their story when he goes back to Earth. So yeah, we that was when we met Chaco the pig, and now we know about Chaco. We don't know his name. But we know about Chaco.
Oh, great! There's that. Yeah, with that, did we already ask that? How would you feel about that? No, we did ask that, right? Like,
we did.
It just seems like its own kind of punishment that you're like, you are famous forever.
Yeah,
but nobody knows who you really are.
Right.
It's the curse of a Batman or something. And again, so these are Florentines that he knew. They are sodomites, presumably.
Yeah, are we still in that? I can't keep track. Are we still in that? Yeah, I guess we are, right?
It's just so again, is he like outing these people? Is it like Harvey Milk? Like Harvey Milk would say, like, if people know how many gay people, like that was Harvey Milk's thing, which is controversial now, but made some sense then. Like we should be forcibly out people as gay, because if people realize like how many gay people they knew in their life, they wouldn't hate them anymore. Like it's easier to hate them if there's like, gay people are somewhere over there. So Harvey Milk was like, we have to come out, and even if there are people who are refusing to come out, we have to out them. Which today we would not do at all, and we would say that's terrible and awful.
Yeah.
But like is that what he's like? there's because like in Brunello Latini, like he's talking with him and he's outing him, and then Brunello Latini is like also mentioning like other sodomites who are around. He's like this guy and this guy and this guy.
Yeah.
And then we have Dante coming out and there's more of them by name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As opposed, instead of giving them the pig or the hawk or some names.
And he's not calling them like derogatory names.
No,
yeah.
he's saying these guys were sodomites. So what do you think about that?
I don't know, folks. This is no. You have posed a really good question that I didn't even think about, folks. Like, yeah, please write in. Like, what do you think Dante is doing here? Because, I don't know. I don't know if he's doing it to out them or to like. I don't know what his intent behind this is. Right, and that's the thing. Like, if he's doing it for malicious reasons or if he's doing it for, I guess, non-malicious.
Right. They're Guelphs and they're what's the other one besides Guelph?
Ghibellines.
The Ghibellines, right? Like they're all down here, and some of them are sodomites on both sides, and you know, I don't know.
Yeah. We got Catholics and we got whatever. Not the Protestants, because that hasn't happened yet.
Not as good Catholic.
Yeah, not as
no, but there's all sorts of people in here. There's pagans and Muslims and everybody.
Yeah. So that is. But that's an interesting question to chew on, right there. Yeah. But yeah. So Dante and Virgil move on, and they come to a waterfall made by the river Phlegathon. Remember that's another one of the rivers of Hades that Dante has borrowed for his own geography of hell. And
we've gone and seen the source of it, and now we've made our way back down again. So
yes, right. So Phlegathon falls into. What's so funny about Phlegathon?
It just sounds like a Seuss word.
Actually, it's like Styx sounds like hellish, right?
Well, I guess it sounds like a rock band to me now, right?
Well, yeah, actually, okay. Right. Acheron.
Yeah, that sounds like hell, sure.
Yeah. Phlegathon.
Yeah.
That sounds like a robot. I am Phlegathon.
It feels like a forest that Mr. Brown moves in. Mr. Brown moves in Phlegathon. Can you in Phlegathon? That's how I'm not as good of a rhymist as Seuss, obviously, to come up with a rhyme for Phlegathon right now.
Oh, Keenan, you just gave me an idea. Someone needs to redo Dante's Inferno as a Seuss story. It's like, the Cantos You'll Go. Isn't that the one with the weird funnel thing?
Oh yeah.
On the cover?
No. Yeah, that's a circle. Those circles of hell, because it's talking about after graduation you're going to go into the corporate world. So it's just the circles.
Oh, so it's already hell. Okay. Well, I love it. But yeah, okay. So they get to the river Phlegathon. And this river ends in a waterfall that falls into the abyss. And our boys have no way to get down into the next circle. But then Virgil gets this idea. He turns to Dante and he says, "Hey, give me a cord." He's like, "Give me that cord around your waist," right? So apparently Dante has had a belt this whole time.
Is it a cord or a belt?
I don't. That's what belts were.
Ragging on his cord. Hey man, he's ragging on your cord.
What? Am I not getting something?
That's a Simpsons. It's a Simpsons thing.
Oh.
Where Jimbo uses an extension cord for a belt.
Oh.
So Barton has this weird Batman style utility belt that has turn signals on it.
Okay.
So he can signal that he's turning left and run away from the bullies and turn right in actuality. So they follow the left-hand one. And then the bullies and Dolphin, Jimbo, and Kearney are like, "Hey, do you want to trade belts with me?" And Bart's like, "Not really, because my belt's really cool and yours is just an extension cord." And you look down at Jimbo and he has an extension cord. And they say, "Hey man, he's ragging on your cord."
So he's like, "Hey, give me the cord around your waist," right?
So yeah, so in the Inferno they just don't mention that at all. That it's a cord.
Right.
No. He has an extension cord for a belt.
He's got a little mini AC that he's been.
Oh yeah, he's cheating.
He plugged it back in. Up in he was up in limbo, right? And he's like, "Oh, does anybody have? I just got to charge my phone." So I can take pictures on the way down. Does anybody have an outlet? And all of the other noble pagans like, "Oh my gosh," right? So they have to make pains for Dante to they uncover they unplug their their coffee maker. It was in the middle of making coffee, but no, Dante does it. Dante,
right, just like we're gonna unplug this.
Like, yeah, I'm just gonna and yeah, the TV goes off or whatever, right? And he plugs this in to charge his phone, and then he's got it's just all the way down in what circle are we? Like,
in 7C, yeah,
right? Yeah. Meanwhile, everybody up in like circle 2 and 3 are tripping over this cord.
Well, in whichever one it's 2, they're flying around in that windstorm.
Yeah, right.
they're getting suplexed by it.
Yeah, right. It's like what's that? They're getting clotheslined by the. Yeah, this whole time, right?
The whole time.
Yeah, but now we now we have a use for it, right? Because but Virgil's like, or Dante's like, well, I don't know, my phone's at like 98%. It's not at 99%.
That's right. Who knows where we're gonna be?
Yeah. But Virgil's like, just give me, and so he uses this cord, right? And he fashions a lasso with this cord, and he swings it around his head, and he tosses it into the abyss.
And the abyss also tosses it back.
Yes, right? Because when you toss into the abyss also tosses back. Right?
All right, that was a joke.
Yes.
I'm not going to explain that joke.
No.
But just to suffice, it does not toss it back in this story. No.
Dante's not silly like us. He's silly in other ways. But yeah, so and Dante wonders like what his guide and master could possibly be up to, right? And Virgil turns to him. He's like, "Just you wait. This is going to be really good. You can't even imagine what I'm going to pull up. Not in a million years, right?" And folks, not to break the suspense, but well, Dante does, because this canto ends right here. As Dante beholds the thing that has floated up out of the watery void, and he teases us here. He goes on to like several stanzas. He's like, you wouldn't believe me even if I told you. So maybe I shouldn't tell you. Okay, I'll tell you. I saw. And that's Canto 16.
Yeah. He leans into Dante and does that thing where they go,
yeah,
and it just slowly fades out.
But yeah. And folks, I know we were just ragging on Dante for doing this, but we're gonna have to keep you waiting also to see what comes up out of this circle. Because for now, that is all of my notes. But before we leave, we got to talk about our 7th circle.
Yeah.
So Keenan, what do you got?
What circle is this? Where are my notes? This is what? This is violence.
From this, violence, yeah.
Wait. Hold on. Let's double check. Circle 7 was violence. Oh, right. It's a whole big circle. Right. It's violence against others, violence against yourself, violence against God, art, and nature, which is where I'm going to focus. Yeah, because they explain it a little bit. That this is all included here because God begets nature. And then nature begets art, which is why that's all in one piece. So like to attack nature is to attack God's progeny, and to attack art is like attacking God's grandson.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I see what you get.
All right. So I'm going to pick violence against nature. And so I am keeping track. This is pretty low, right? This is pretty deep down in there. Right. But I'm going to include litterers here. So I think, the trouble with litterers is that it feels to litterers like it is not that big of a deal. But it is actually, in some ways, I think it is even more disrespectful than like big polluters. And because like the idea of the litterer is that they think that their actions don't matter, and that someone else will clean it up, and then they'll come around and do that, right? So I hate that. I mean, maybe not more than putting carbon into the atmosphere that's going to destroy our planet and our species or whatever. But
it's like the thought behind it. It's like I have privilege. I'm more special, and I can litter. Other litterers are bad, except for me when I do.
Exactly. I saw a meme that was from a dating. People took a screenshot from a dating app. I don't remember which if it was Tinder or Bumble or Grindr or whatever. Right. But it was like, hey, how are you doing? And the other guy was like, I'm cool. Just littered a bunch. He goes, and the guy was like, what? Like, did I mishear that? Yeah, went to McDonald's, threw all the trash out the window. Lol. That's like his pickup line. Like, isn't that so cool of me that I'm so blasé? I'm like James Dean over here, just rebel without a cause, just like throwing litter out the window of the car.
I can see several things wrong with this message. Firstly, eating at McDonald's. And then ending a sentence with lol. And then also the littering. Right?
Yeah. But littering, I mean, so like, I don't know. I don't know if this makes any sense at all. Like, some of the pollution that gets put up into the air is for hospitals and manufacturing and all the stuff that's like actually like is a byproduct of pollution. The pollution is like a byproduct of like operating
Industry,
in the world, right?
yeah.
It's like a systemic problem that like we all have to have like collective action on in order to solve. But like littering has no purpose whatsoever, and it is like you're saying, like I'm better than caring about putting things in my pocket till the next trash can. Yeah,
right. Like you have no excuse. You're not like powering a hospital,
right?
Or
think of two good things in the world, and you're having trouble thinking of two good things in the entire world,
or an animal hospital. No, you have no excuse, right? You're just littering for the sake of littering,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
laziness,
but I think it also is that pride that you're talking about. Like my problems are, my problem of waiting to find the trash can is more important than people who have to see the trash or slip on the trash or get disease from the trash or have to pick up the trash. So I guess my my contrapasso, the punishment, would be that like whatever they litter just ends up back at their house, wherever that is. So it's just like bloop, it's just right in the most inconvenient place, like in the
I love that,
in their fridge. Like wherever, whatever's the most ironic zip that they get to. Yeah,
that's great. I love the idea, and then just like opening the closet door and just like this avalanche of like tissues and crap, just like
right.
Oh, love it. Mwah. Yes, there's a beautiful contrapasso right there.
And how about you?
Okay, so for me, I know we joked about there being no circle for plagiarism,
right?
But I'm gonna go the violence against art angle here. And I'm going to stick it to AI, stealing people's art and stealing people's images and their voices and passing it off as original work or worse, using it for fraudulent or nefarious purposes.
Yeah.
So AI is the sinner here. But then I was like, well, yes, how do you punish a robot?
Unplug it.
Unplug. Well, that's just killing it. Like,
oh, right. How do you punish a robot? You make it listen to our show, probably.
No. Don't train them on our show. But I'm going to go with asking it questions that are impossible or have no answer or have many answers, but forcing it to like keep working until it comes up with an answer, which will result in an infinite feedback loop.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. So like asking it to solve the problem of evil.
Oh, right.
or the ship of Theseus, right? We tried both of those on the show and we couldn't solve them. Or wait. Hey, AI. If we can conceive of a perfect God, he must exist because, hang on, because perfection includes existence, or existence includes perfection. Figure it out, AI.
Thomas
forever.
Aquinas bot does not compute.
Thomas Aquinas.
Yeah, so we give it like Buddhist koans, right? Of like, play the sound, or Alexa, play the sound of one hand clapping.
There you go. Right?
It just plays Despacito. That's its default.
Alexa, give me ambient music of a tree falling in the woods, but there's no one around to hear it. Yeah, there we go. Or actually, okay, wait. I can't believe I've never heard this one before, Keenan. Okay, a person makes the claim that they are lying. Are they telling the truth?
But yes, but if yes, then so no.
Right.
If no, therefore
right?
Yes.
So just feed that into AI, and that's what they have to. We can't unplug them. We can't dismantle them. They just have to work on that problem forever.
Huh.
Yeah.
There is the riddle about the two brothers, and one is lying and one's telling the truth. Do you know this?
Right.
As many times as it's been explained to me, I could never remember or understand the solution to it. Are you the same way?
I am the same way. I have looked up that answer. So that is one that can be answered, folks. But my brain just cannot retain that information. Like it's like behind each of us is a door, and one will take you to your desired place, and then one of us tells always tells lies, and one of us always. I can never ever, and whenever like in a story, like we get to that riddle, and I'm like, Jesus, and I just like the hero figures it out, and I'm like, I trust you. let's get out of this situation as soon as we can. Right.
Right. But now it's such a famous like solved riddle that they'll like just sort of shorthand
Is
it.
it, Keenan? Because I still haven't solved it.
I know, but you see people respond and they're like, oh, the riddle and the thing is whatever. And they move on like, no, I don't know. You have to help me. Watch. I bet if we text our friend Ian, who has not been on the show in a while, but he's our first guest and our friend, he'll be able to tell us. He just knows it. So I'm going to do that right now, if you mind. He probably won't answer during our show, but Ian.
Oh, he's done that before.
How do you solve the riddle of the brothers where one only tells the truth and the other tells only lies? That's how it goes, right? All right. We'll see. We'll get an answer from him later.
Okay, that's great. But yeah, folks, for now, that is all of my notes. All right, well, that was great. Thanks, past Lester and Keenan. Well, folks, I have been Lester Ryan Clark, both in the past and in the present. You can summon me on all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I am immune to the bounds of time, and I've been Keenan Diaz, and you can invoke me on Instagram and Letterboxd at Howdy Keenan.
Yeah, find more of our shows and other really cool podcasts at True Story FM. Like us on Instagram and join our Facebook listener group, Dante's Ninth Circle Sushi and Karaoke Bar, or feel free to drop us a message at thedevilsdetails@gmail.com. Wouldst thou like to live deliciously? We're not even asking for your souls. Just give us a 5-pentagram rating on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to our show. That and sharing the show by word of mouth or on social media helps our little podcast grow and find more cool people like you. All right, folks. Until next week, love and hisses. Mwah!
Ian responded.
Oh, okay.
You
That was quick.
ask one what the other would say, and then you know it's a lie. Why do you know that?
Yeah, that does not help me at all.
So you ask one brother what the other one would say. Why would that? You know it's a lie.
So here we have the answer, and I still don't understand it.